Okay, so what it is, Shawty crew, and my Daizee loves. This is the second thing, and this one is more, it's gonna be quick, but it's deep, like, so I need you to stick with me. I recognize, wholeheartedly this year, like, I really do make videos for every version of me. Sometimes I'm going back, and it's something that Megan, when she was 20, she needed to hear. Sometimes it's stuff that I need to hear, like, right now, in this moment. And sometimes it's stuff that's gonna catch me when I grow and mature, and when I get older, right? And so that was a big realization for me, along with, okay, I don't know who needs this. When you're in a position of helping people who are where you used to be, you have to be very mindful, especially if you're not healed, because people will talk to you like you need to learn a lesson you've already learned. People will treat you like you're not in a season, or that you're in a season that you already graduated from, because that's what the enemy is ultimately trying to do. Like, baby, I already learned this lesson. I already graduated from this. But sometimes you can get a little confused, especially if you're not healed, if you're helping people who are in a season that you were in. Okay, so you have to be very mindful of that. I don't know if y'all do, like, for actual work or for extracurriculars, but, like, that is something that always came up, and it was only working or affecting me like that because I wasn't healed. Okay, now, if you are really like me, and I mean really like me, you shouldn't be sitting around waiting on God to do something new per se, because that was the word he gave me in 2020, 2021. And so in my mind, when I was getting stuff confused, it was like, I mean, it shouldn't take this long. It shouldn't take 3-4 years. And it's not that it took 3-4 years. God had already did the new thing, but my heart and my mind wasn't in the place to receive the new thing. It wasn't in a place to, even if I did pick up on the new thing, to maintain the new thing, right, and be able to sustain it. Prime examples, he already gave you and showed you what you need to be doing for your finances to unlock the resources. He did, if you're really like me, right? Your destiny connectors already in your life, already sent them, already blessed you with them. For me, it goes way back, right? Like, way back. And even us being in a place of, like, man, I can't imagine if we knew that and we were doing this and moving like that back then. Like, right, because we weren't in the place, but he had already sent the blessing. And so if you're in a place to where you're in the future, but you're still, or the present even, but you're still living in the past, right, you're not going to see that. And how can you still be living in the past? Like, God, it's 2024. What do you mean? Like, I'm still, yeah, it's 2024. It's not 2016. It's not 2019. It's not even 2021. You've grown and you changed and you've developed since then. However, you didn't let me do, like, this thorough healing. And so we can think, like, oh, I'm waiting on God to send this, and that can trip you up too, because now the devil gonna send counterfeits, because you think it's a new thing, a new person coming, and it's like, no, I already gave you what I wanted you to have. But because you won't heal, now it's like a new person coming, but it's attached to old things that you already be. Does that make sense? So now you're getting even more tripped up. So I wanted to throw that piece in there. It's simply about just, like, being able to recognize that, but you won't be able to if you don't heal. So the last part is, when I woke up this morning, and really it's been like this for the last couple of weeks, like, wow, I really been living in the past. Like, how have I lived in this house for this many years, but I never did these things? I never experienced these things. I never went after these things because I was still living in the past. My past and that narrative, that script that I had been sticking to all this time, was not the one that God had gave me. Like, I knew what to do when I moved in the house. I was supposed to be healing and creating. Like, that was my instructions. That's what I was supposed to be doing. And I focused on that at first. And that's when he started to do those new things. And so even me now being like, I must have missed some steps. And my mom and them, my sister. And that's why you can't, nobody control the narrative over here but God. And it's no shade or, being mad at them. And I remember them telling me one day, like, you just need to spend time, like, alone. You've never had a season where you've been alone. And I was looking at them like, what are y'all talking about? I've done that like 3-4 times. What do you mean? And the last time I had did it, like, for real, and was fasting and consecrated myself, this is years ago. That is when God did all the new stuff. That is when God ushered in the new blessings. So I want to serve as a lesson learned to y'all. He could do that for you, bless you with that, do the reconciliation, all of that, and you still so far gone in the past that you can't even receive it. And so it even looks like that to other people, like, well, you must have skipped a step. You must have did something wrong. Yeah, I just didn't heal. And this is going to bring me to the kingdom marriage words that I want to do. I might be able to record one of those on the way to work too, but that's what it was. I was in the present or the future now, but I was still living in the past in my heart and in my mind. And that changes literally everything. Like, I woke up today like, I've been in this space, right? But I just couldn't see it like that. I didn't receive it because I was still living in the past because of unforgiveness, because of unresolved trauma, right? Unforgiveness is a big one. That will definitely keep you in the past. It will bring a lot of warfare into your life too. My dad told me that. Guess when he told me that? Like 3-4 years ago. Like, I was already in this place. So then you look around and you're like, man, God really moving in their life. They was obedient. They was doing this and this. Like, God, what's the hold up? And you get frustrated. You don't know what's going on, baby. You'd hold up. Let him heal you. And he kept telling me that a couple weeks ago too. Like, we be running from the very thing that we need to get the blessings, and it's Jesus. Like, we run from him because he exposes what's going on in our hearts, what's going on in our minds, what still hurts us. He brings the truth in, and so we run from him. But that's what we need to be free of certain things, whether it's addictions, whether it's your past, no matter what it is. That the blessing, like, God, I want this spouse, I want this supportive spouse, I want this love, but you can't receive it if you keep running from Jesus because you need Jesus to have it. God, I want this money, I want this, but you run from Jesus, and Jesus is the one telling you the obedient steps, like, no matter what it is. And so we'll run from him, and he is the key to unlock everything. Now, also me though, it feels like I did a couple things out of order. All those heart checks, he knows if you're just seeking him and it's not genuine, but you're just seeking him just to do it so that you can get those blessings versus genuinely seeking him. And I feel like a lot of times that's when he'll let you go through some stuff. He'll let you get kind of broken down, and then that'll bring you to the point of realizing, like, I only need you, because you forget about certain things when you fighting for your life. Like, you know what, I was coming over here for this, but you get what I'm saying? So he knows. So you can't be like no fake putting on. He knows. Remember, God's eye is the camera. Like, he knows. And I just wanted to share that with y'all because for some of you, like, that's why I knew this was gonna be. I knew the Christmas coming early was a me thing because he had already gave. Imagine waking up and you have all these presents that's been there, but you couldn't see them. And you couldn't see them because you were blinded by your past. You were blinded by unforgiveness. You were blinded by trauma, right? Like, you were still living in the past, but your literal present is a big gift, right? And you can't even be aware. And that's a big thing for me over the years with my mental health, like my mental state, the depression and stuff, because of the trauma. I couldn't be present. That really is a gift. I couldn't be present, and I would look forward to a future, but it would feel like that was like never coming because I was still shackled by my past. Like, do you get what I'm saying? But imagine that you have all these gifts and presents around you that God has been sent. Like, you're not waiting on him to send anything. He already sent it, but you could not see it because of the stuff that you were running from. You didn't want to forgive people. You didn't, because in order to forgive them, you got to really deal with what they did to begin with, right? Or because you didn't want to really heal and all that. Like, what Toby said in the song, it's hard to get your gift from God when both your hands is full. Right. But for me, it ain't even 100%. It wasn't even that. I couldn't even see straight. Like, which is crazy, because then you wake up and it's like, this has always been here. This has always been here. Wow. Like, that's how it's been for me lately. So I want to encourage whoever needs that, because if like, for real, if you really like me, like, and I know that. I was telling them recently, like, I didn't enjoy that moment of my life. I didn't enjoy that moment of my life because I was so depressed and in such a bad place. I couldn't be present. And God has given me so many chances for redos, and I thank him for that. And every redo be bigger and better and greater and grander, right? And that's what he's telling me for 2025, right? But open your eyes. But I feel like you can't open your eyes until you heal and you forgive and you truly let go of the past. Like, and it's easier said than done. I've been saying that stuff, but it wasn't until this year where I was really able to let it go and be set free from it. I love y'all. I hope y'all have a great day, and I'll talk to y'all later. See you in the next few videos. Oh, and that man been ahead of you. He been ahead of you. You just couldn't see it because you was living in the past version of y'all. The past version of yourself. He's been ahead of you. In the dream I had in 2021, what was the name of that? Protect the Bride, and you were in the lead at first, and then he runs ahead. He been ahead, and that's half the reason you've been having issues in your relationship, because you wouldn't listen. You wouldn't listen to the instructions from God, and you wouldn't listen to what that man was saying y'all needed to be doing and focusing on in that season. He been ahead of you, and so now you've been out of order because you've been living in the past, thinking that he ain't know no better, thinking he was still on the same stuff, and he really wasn't even on the same stuff. Like, do you know how crazy that is? That's nuts. It's been here. It's been here. Before I forget, the Lord is telling me I was so tied to my past. So even when I'm, doing all this big boy stuff and talking about all this stuff, and I'm thinking, I'm projecting what's really going on with this, and the devil over here with the man who God sent. Like, you were soul tied to your past, sis. That's the soul tie you needed to deal with. That's the relationship you need to deal with, the one that you have with the enemy. You were soul tied to your past, and because you were soul tied to your past, you could not enjoy what the new man, Jesus' bae, was doing for you in your life. You couldn't enjoy. You were still being tormented by that ex, even though you was in a whole nother relationship, because you was over here with Jesus. You was wanting to be with Jesus, but you were still soul tied to your past. But how loving is he to still love on you, love you, choose you, and help you let go of that soul tie? Thank you, Jesus.